Yo, what is going on everyone? It's me, Mr. Premps, and after being on break for a week, One Piece is back, and chapter 1011 is out. Now whilst we've been on a break, most One Piece YouTubers have been spamming out videos, because One Piece 1010 was absolutely amazing. Now Conqueror's Haki was the focus, and seeing that it was basically confirmed that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki was absolutely mind-blowing. But what is even more interesting was the fact that Luffy had now learned how to use Conqueror's Haki as part of his attacks, and he was confident that he could take on Kaido one-on-one. So with chapter 1011, we have all been anticipating as to where Oda could take us next. And although this chapter didn't top last chapter, I don't think it could have, because chapter 1010 was peak fiction. But what Oda did do was make Big Mom the focus of this chapter. So without delaying any more, let's talk about it. Now before I get started, as usual, please make sure you leave a like on the video, as it helps me out so much with that YouTube algorithm. And if you like One Piece content and weekly One Piece reviews, I would hope that you would subscribe to the channel, so that you never miss out when I drop more content just like this. Now, as for the cover page, we actually got a beautiful cover spread of the Straw Hats all eating ice cream, and Nami teasing what that tongue does. But what there isn't is no tease of a future Straw Hat, like Yamato or Carrot. So let's keep on guessing on that topic as the story progresses. The chapter's called Anko Standards, meaning red bean paste standards, and using the little notes highlighted that this was what was used to make a shiriku soup, which for those of us that remember was the soup that Big Mom rampaged so much to get her hands on once she had tasted it from Suru, who's from Okabura town in Kuri. So going into the chapter, it was inevitable that Big Mom was going to be the focus, and we find out straight away that the changing clouds that Killer and Kid were looking at last chapter, and the thing that Prometheus wanted to talk to Big Mom about, was indeed the creation of a new homie. And this new homie is named Hera, which in Greek mythology is the queen of gods and the sister and wife of Zeus, which to me is absolutely wild, because one, Big Mom clearly had to use part of her own soul in order to create Hera, but two, are all the theories of Zeus ultimately ending up with Nami becoming true? This is going to be extremely interesting to see. Kid and Killer are absolutely baffled at this point, as they thought that they had dealt with Zeus. So where the heck is this new Zeus coming from? Which reminds me that they must not know how Big Mom's power works, particularly in regards to her creating her own homies and using her own soul. And Big Mom? I feel like she needs a lot more respect, because she tests Hera out here with a new attack that literally destroyed the floor. And it was so powerful that it caused Kid to be blown away, and in turn freed Zeus, which through Law and Zoro's conversation would suggest that Kid would have to remain concentrated to keep Zeus in the magnetized box. So since the impact of Big Mom's attack was so ferocious, he was unable to keep Zeus contained. But since we're talking about Zoro and Law, we found out that Law is leaving the rooftop and is basically taking Zoro to safety. And I think Kid and Killer down as well, as I can't quite remember if there's anyone else on the rooftop, but I honestly don't think there is. But from a personal standpoint, I think that Law is playing the support role again. I feel like out of the three captains, Law tends to look at things far more objectively and understands everything that's going on, such as when he told Zoro keeping Prometheus contained wasn't worth dying for. So basically what I'm saying is that Law's not finished here. He's getting everyone down, going to reassess the situation, as he knows that all those on the rooftop aren't going to be able to do much to Kaido right now, and also acknowledges he can't let Zeus get back to Big Mom. Now obviously, this is him unknowing that Big Mom has already fixed that issue by creating Hera, but I guess he'll find that out shortly. So this basically leaves us with Luffy and Kaido on the rooftop, and I guess this is what the people have been waiting for. And once again, given my personal opinion, from last chapter where we saw Luffy was basically saying, "I've got this," I was definitely caught up in the moment, because the more and more I thought about this, I couldn't believe that Oda would give us a one-on-one face-off between Luffy and Kaido. Like, this is low-key criminal. I mean, how can Luffy, who's just about learned how to coat his attack with Conqueror's Haki, now face Kaido and basically do the unthinkable and defeat Kaido? I mean, I know Luffy basically has those blooming flashbacks where he remembers that Haki blooms in the midst of battle. But Kaido is definitely impressed by Luffy. He raises the fact that Luffy seems excited by the fact that the risk has increased and is smiling more and more than he was before. But with the two facing off, we get that moment, you know, where they fly towards each other and then they have their clash. And once again, just like the greats of the past, they're not even touching. And to me, even though Haki has been explained to some extent, we definitely need more of an explanation, but I'll leave it at that. Now moving on, we go to the castle interior, and this is where Kid and Killer are, or should I say where Big Mom's attack blew them away to. But Killer was questioning why she did not come after them. But Kid, probably knowingly here, felt that she had just lost them in the midst of the attack, and so him and Killer should go and find her, wherever she is, which is most likely downstairs. But then something came that I did not expect, and that's the reintroduction of Basil Hawkins. And honestly, I'm so upset here because Hawkins is still an op. He sees Kid and Killer and they recall their alliance. And Hawkins speaks on how he made the right choice and that Apu had already sold them out and this was the only possible choice. Although he's impressed that Killer and Killer have survived thus far. But it's at this point that Killer tells Kid to go on ahead. He told him to go to Big Mom and that he'd deal with Hawkins right here, once and for all. Hawkins once again reverts to his terror cards, stating that it's even better as Killer's likelihood of death is now 92%. And honestly, this is so annoying, but I've got to give it up to Hawkins as he stands by his terror cards. He's literally the definition of trusting the process. But come on now, Oda, when does Hawkins switch sides? We know it's coming. But moving away from this, we move on to Nami, Usopp, Tama and Komachi, who are being chased by Page 1 and Ulti, and really, it's just Page 1. Now we find out that the dango that Usopp was shooting into all of these zones doesn't actually work on zones, and only those who have ate the smile fruit, which is actually a good way for Oda to nerf her fruit. But let's move on to the real important part here, which is Big Mom, and it's going to link into the title of this chapter, because they all run into Big Mom who's looking for Eustace Kid. And we see immediately that she remembers Nami and Usopp. And at this point, they're thinking, oh damn. But Tama steps in and she's like, oh Lin-chan. And we find out that Big Mom has this mothering mode. And it's only for kids that are under the age of 10. Which, I mean, I wasn't expecting myself. But this is definitely one way to nerf Big Mom in the moment again. Now Big Mom talks to Tama, telling her that this is such a dangerous place for her to be. And thanks her for looking after her even when she had amnesia. And they reminisce about the Oshiriku soup that they had. But what's so interesting here is that Tama tells Big Mom how the town no longer exists, as Kaido's men burnt it down. Now with Big Mom infuriated that Kaido's man would do such a thing to the people who showed her such great hospitality, she takes out her frustrations on Page 1, who's about to attack the crew at this point. And my gosh, we all had a fear that the whole amnesia plotline would come back into play, and it certainly has done again here, as Big Mom turning on Kaido once again might be happening. Well, I mean, even if it's not Kaido, she's certainly turning on his underlings, as Ulti acknowledges that this is bad. And I mean, this does bring the chapter to an end, and that final panel of Big Mom punching Page 1 is beautiful. But I really don't know how to feel about this chapter. I don't want to be negative because I feel like this chapter is another building chapter, building for something greater. Because we have Luffy and Kaido set up, Killer and Hawkins set up, and I'm pretty sure Kid is around the corner from Big Mom, so surely that's going to happen. A lot happened in the chapter, including the formation of a new homie, but I really can't work out what Big Mom's role in Wano is going to be. It's really not clear at all. Maybe I might have to do another video talking about that. But let me know your thoughts. What did you guys and girls think of the chapter? I think it was solid as usual, but maybe you all felt a little bit different. Do you like what's happening with Big Mom? As I think that's the biggest topic of conversation. But as usual, if you like anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out when I drop more content just like this. Save.